Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
May God bless every person.
Welcome and thank you for joining us here on this wonderful Wednesday as I start things off, make it even better with Giovanni. Javi Ebanks sits with us.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you?
Good, man. Thank you for joining us for a couple of days, man.
No worries, man. It's been my pleasure. I incorporated that into my little vacation package before I head off.
The big send-off, huh?
The big send-off, yeah, man.
Well, it's going to be open line until 1 o'clock.
Nice.
Then at 1, Chief Officer Teresa Janiki and our Deputy, Mr. Andre Ebanks, will be our guest. So we invite you to be a part of our discussion. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255. Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us. And in the studio, was this your maybe last day, you think?
Yeah, last day.
3 and done?
3 and done, yeah. You know what I say, the third time is the charm.
Is that what it is, huh?
Yeah.
Well, that's hopeful. No, man, for those who are just joining us and you missed what I think is an exceptional opportunity to be encouraged and to send Jerry off in style, man. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
A couple more days and you'll be on the big plane.
I know. Less than 2 weeks now. So,
yeah.
And then off to across the pond.
Yeah, have you decided, change your wardrobe, your accent? Are you
no,
I don't. Hair?
I don't think I have it in me to change anything. I'm gonna go over there and be just as Caymanian as humanly possible.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go to a British restaurant and I'm just gonna order kung stew and white rice and then get upset when they don't bring it. That's the level of professionalism that I'm taking to represent the country across the other. And then I'm gonna call into one of the talk shows and ask for Sterling Dwayne. Yeah. I'd be upset when Susan doesn't answer the phone. That's how upset I'm going to be. I'm going to be that level Caymanian.
What do you mean? So a lot of other people who come here, what do you mean you don't have what I have back home?
Yeah, exactly. What do you mean you don't have Radio Cayman? Well, then how do you get the news? How do you know what the premier is saying? President? President who?
Yeah. No, but seriously, I mean, the thing is, I always tell people, September in particular, and this is not intended to be a political statement, but if it is, I stand by it. When we're looking at celebrating our people, way back when, and I think it was even as recent as, say, 2003, I had a conversation with a very, very astute politician who at that time was elected forever almost at a point, and I said, we need to get to a point that we celebrate our people, our accomplishments, our sorrows, our missed opportunities, all the good and the bad, so that we start to come together and recognize where we're going forward. Now, this was early in 2003, probably even late 2002. And I recall what transpired that led me to believe that and to seek him out. And I said, no, some sort of new holiday and the like would be in the offerings, right?
I think that is honestly a great idea. We don't have enough holidays here.
It should be one every week, huh?
One every month. I mean, let's not be greedy. Okay. Come on. One a month. Let's carry it through. We have to deal with people.
Yeah, true though. But actually, I want to ask you about something in that respect. Some research I was doing again, right? But with the holiday or with the celebration, now it doesn't have to be from the perspective that businesses close. It doesn't even have to be Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. We could do it on a Saturday, right? It could be this thing. No? Okay, well.
How about just, it doesn't have to be a Monday. It doesn't have to be a Friday. But let it be a Wednesday. Do you know how refreshing it feels when you go to work the day after a public holiday? It's like, I feel like I have enough to kind of make it through the week.
Right. So Wednesday then?
Yeah, Wednesday. Thursday if you're being lazy,
No, but think about it, right? What is September for most of us? Right?
Going back to school.
Yeah, back to school, right? Transition. Always transition. You're either leaving primary to go to middle to go to high, off to university. It's always that transition. When our fathers and in some cases older brothers, uncles went to sea, for some reason it was September that we missed them. It was that time around. And when you think of agrarian societies and they're preparing, September is that time when they better be in high gear. For us, September, well, is at the height of the hurricane season almost. So a celebration of Thanksgiving, of gratitude, of appreciation, of unity in September, I think would be important, because those students who are going probably North America may have already left, but those who are going off to the UK and other parts probably on their way, so to speak. But you get to celebrate with them.
That is quite a historical way of looking at it, Mr. Sterling. I was just thinking that we would have another day to get a little fun in the sun on the beach. But yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I was just looking for a free rum punch, sir, to be honest with you.
But someone's got to think, and others just have to do, right?
Yeah, you're right.
No, man. But what about the idea of a 4-day work week? Now, I
support it.
Yeah.
Well, no. I mean, I believe it should be the company's decision, but I think that a company should be able to have that discussion with the employees, because I can rest assured and tell you that everybody can think of at least one day a week when they go to work where they do the bare minimum to make it look like they're doing work, but not enough work that it actually consists of them doing work. For most people, it's a Friday. That's when you're probably the least most productive. Now, some people might say, hey, Fridays, I'm extremely productive. But there's always that one day where you're not doing much. And I think it should kind of be optional. Like, say, hey, well, let me take off the Thursday, but I'll come in Saturday instead. Obviously not all businesses would be able to accommodate that concept. But I think businesses that can accommodate that concept, there should definitely be some leeway there. And I think most companies right now who can do that do that. I think that employment practices is probably one of the areas that we probably need to start seeing some develop. It's not a huge issue to me right now, but it's something that, hey, we can start talking about it. All right.
Well, in the studio, Javi Ebanks joins us, and if we're blessed and fortunate enough, before he goes off to university, might be able to come in either by phone or otherwise, but at least he's here today. Phone lines are open, some open line until 1 p.m. We want you to call us on 949-8037, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. There's a voice note once Ms. Susan checks that out and makes sure that that's not, the order for lunch being delayed. We'll see what it is, right? But Jerry, as I was looking at some things, right, the 4-day work week, only if you're inclined, certainly for those who are listening, there have been a number of instances over the year where a few people, one in particular, has always been sending me stuff. Now, this is a person that would be, I guess in today's language, be involved in the HR section of businesses, right?
Right.
How to incentivize employees, how to make them more productive. And now I probably should know, but I can't recall exactly when, but probably in the mid-2000s when Utah conducted what some people say the Utah experiment. There was this financial crisis. They were looking at different issues, and as a public entity, all of its sort of government agencies participated, the public sector employees, and they found more productivity, happier employees. Employees were also exercising. The customers that these public entities were serving seemed to have been more pleased with this notion that the businesses were open even though their employees were on a 4-day work week. They also found part of the, if I recall it correctly, the impetus for it was that cost savings. Buildings weren't being, sort of unoccupied, underutilized, and the like. So it's something that I want to share with you, but I think the voice note is ready, Susan. All right, let's listen to this voice note. Hey, good afternoon. What are you going to say on this voice note? Let's hear.
I would like to send Happy Emancipation Day greetings to all, especially those of us of African descent. May we never forget who we are as a people, and may we never forget those who sacrifice themselves so that we might have freedom and all that life has to offer.
All right, well, sometimes, I guess this is the beauty of radio. They come in like the calls, you're not quite sure what is what, right? But for those who are listening, 949-837 or 1-800-534-8255. Jeff?
When it comes to 4-day work weeks, you then have to determine when are those 4 days going to be. If you have a company that only operates Monday to Friday, and their services are generally not available on weekends, then maybe accommodating a 4-day work week would be a tad bit difficult, because then it would kind of go against how the company operates, because maybe the company would then have to consider maybe opening on another day for employees who probably opt to work on the weekend as to work a day. So I believe it can cause additional expenses. But I don't think it should be this general rule, for like all right, let's talk about government. Why not? I don't think the government would work well if you had majority of the positions as a 4-day work week. It's sometimes quite difficult to,
But you're right. I mean, it depends on the organization, and
right.
Like a government where services sometimes have to be every day, not just Monday through Friday. But employees, even civil servants, are able to work.
I see that there's a human resource up, though, because, for example, I used to work on Saturdays. Many persons in the media work on Saturdays. But if I'm working Monday to Friday, and I work on Saturday as well, Sunday everything is closed, so I don't get to run any errands as someone else who doesn't work on Saturday. You see, it's human resource. I think it's just really dependent on the department, the kind of industry, and how that operation runs. If you follow me.
I mean, when I was talking to the guy earlier, he was sharing that it's something that he's been trying to figure out how to, not only to other HR personnel, but to politicians as well.
Right.
Given that, what is the one commodity that we all have in equal measure, but some use it more effectively?
Daylight.
Time, right?
Yeah.
Right. And that idea that as people, we are seemingly productive at our jobs, but where's that work-life balance?
Correct, because you also have different type of work-life, because there was a period in my life where I worked at the airport where I was required to be up early in the morning. So still to an extent, I can be very productive earlier, than say my friend who doesn't have to be to work until 9. Or, there was a time when I also worked on radio where I had to work in the evenings or late at night. And so I then became productive for that period of time. So to me, it's such a difficult thing to regulate that it's like that, to me at least, that should be like the company's decision. I don't know if that's a decision that I think there should be this law to
I mean, the benefits, we hear people talk about staggered time, so that when people come in from work at another time. This is not the discussion I was able to get into with him, but I thought, it came up and asked the question, the idea of, better mass transport so that we can move people throughout the country much easier, much more efficiently, much more effectively, right? Cost effectively as well. But if we were looking at, say, for instance, a 4-day work week, a business in the private sector, I said to him, well, how would that work? Because that business wants to be open every day, if possible, to be available 24/7, right? Now with the technology, whether it's the e-commerce like environment, the business can be operational every second of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But he shared that, as he was researching it, he found a couple of companies, now it's specific, where the employees were given the option, it worked for them, and just like what you said at the outset, right? He said, just as an honest response, yes, there's a day when they come in, it mightn't be every week, but it's certainly several times for the month,
right,
where they have things that they have to do, not just the banking, you can do